So, guys, we want to start with Waterford with Garen Bain. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi.
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 Hi, guys. Do you want to move your camera a little bit so everyone can see your lovely faces? If you just move, there we go. Do you want to tell everyone your names, boys?
I'm Mario.
Hi, Mario. Perfect. And you guys are there with Sam. So, Darren,
Yes.
do you want to introduce your guys?
Oh, I'm Sam.
Okay, so this is Shannon and Rachel.
Hi, guys. Shannon and Rachel. How are you guys? And then we'll go down to, I'm following my screen here. Trisha is in the middle there. Trisha, do you want to introduce yourself? And your lovely guest?
Hi, I'm Trisha and this is Blaine.
Hi guys.
And Trisha and Blaine are on live from Cork. So, and then we go over to Stephen. Stephen, do you want to introduce who you have with you?
Hi, how's it going? I'm Stephen, this is Daniel, and this is the lovely Anya, all the way from Ashford.
Hi guys.
Hi. And then we go to Arklow. Lauren with all the guys. Who's all there?
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm getting your name. What's your name? We have Freya here. What's your name?
Aiden.
And what's your name?
Arian.
Arian. And we have Caroline in the back.
Hi guys. And then we go to Katie. Katie, who have you got with you ready to do our lovely interview?
I'm Katie, and this is. Hi, I'm Julia. Julia.
Hi, Julia. And then we go over to the guys at the Abbey. Who's all there ready to ask questions? We're having some technical difficulties, are we? There we go. Hi, guys.
Hi, I'm Kirsty.
Hi, Kirsty.
What's your name?
Daria. Theo.
What's your name?
Dara.
What's your name?
Karen.
Very good. Hi, guys. And then we go down to Grania and St. Patrick's. Who's with you, Grania?
Hi, we've got Sophia and Alex.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, Alex. And then I know Kilcommon, the children are just arriving, so we'll talk to them in a minute. So, and I'm Sarah. So, hi, everybody. I have my camera on today. I don't normally do. So, Saran, would you like to introduce yourself and your lovely guest?
Okay, so I'm Saran O'Rourke. We live in Rings, so we have some slight locals here as well. We're living in Ring, just outside Dungarvan in County Waterford, and this is my daughter Breffney. Breffney is studying wildlife biology down in Tralee, so she hopes to be working with wildlife, fingers crossed. So we trained, the two of us trained as seal first responders. So we go out and we help baby seals and adult seals that get into a bit of trouble.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know the guys have been thinking very hard and they watched the lovely video and pictures that you guys sent of your lovely rescue. So I know they have a few questions they'd like to ask. So
Right.
we'll go to, might as well go to Waterford first. Might as well get them and see what question that they'd like to ask.
You ready for the question, Mario? Yeah, you're ready to say it.
How many seals have you rescued?
We were just figuring that out. We have lifted what we call actually lifting and bringing to the rescue centre. We have lifted 15 baby seals and brought them to Wexford for rehabilitation.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
Wow.
love
And do they go to the seal rescue that's in Cortown?
In Cortown in Wexford,
Very good.
Cortown in Wexford,
Not
yeah.
too far. Wow. Okay, so Darren, would you guys, who'd like to ask a question?
Okay, go. How long do the seals live for?
Okay, that's such a good question. I'll let Breffney tell you this.
Well, it actually depends on the type of seal. For the grey seals, they live a little bit longer, don't they?
Yeah. Two types of seal in Ireland. We have a grey seal and we have the common seal. So, Breffney.
So the grey seal is a little bit bigger. Well, for the puppies anyway, when they're born at 2.5 to 3.5 feet, and they can be up to 12 to 16 kg. So they're quite big at first, and when they're fully grown, They can reach up to
310 kg.
yeah 8 feet.
Huge. That is a huge,
Yeah.
really, really big.
And for the length of time they live is 25 years. Isn't
They've
it?
25 years, yeah. And the girls rock. The girls last for 35 years. Both grey and common seals, the males live to 25 and the females live up to 35 years.
Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And I see the guys from Kilcommon have just joined. So do you guys want to introduce yourself, and would you like to ask Saran and Breffney a question about the seals and the seal rescue?
This is we are.
I
Right.
don't really have one.
I'm Jade. This is Mia, and that's Gurren. We have a Remy, but she's over there. She doesn't want to be on video right now.
Okay.
So Jade
Yeah,
and
but-
Gurren, do you guys have any questions if Mia can't think of anything?
Is it harder to rehabilitate a baby seal or a grown seal, adult seal? Is that the right word?
I would say the adult would be far more difficult because the baby seals, I mean, yesterday, the seal that we rescued yesterday, he actually fell asleep in the car. He was like, they're babies. And once we're not threatening towards them, when we went to catch him yesterday, to box him yesterday, he got very angry with Breffney and I. He did try to bite us. And we do like to see that because it shows that they have a bit of energy, and that's a good sign. If they don't have energy, we worry about them. An adult seal is so much bigger, particularly the grey seals, and I really wouldn't like to be taking one of them on. The babies are cute.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Now, Trisha and Blaheen, do you have a question that you guys would like to ask?
Hi. How quickly do the seals grow?
Oh, it takes a few years.
It does, but when they're first they're quite small, but up to 3 weeks after that is kind of when they do their most growing. So they can nearly triple in size in their first 3 weeks. Yeah, the grey seals. But after that, it is kind of a slow process.
I mean, with a lifespan of 35 years, they get to maturity at 7 years of age. So they're growing for 7 years.
Wow. So in the grand scheme of things, they grow quite fast compared to
They grow quite fast. The common seal pups are luckier in that when they're born, they are ready to rock and roll. They can swim, they can dive, they can go fishing with mom. They accompany mom in the sea. Mom will teach them how to hunt and what to eat. Whereas the poor old grey seal is born up on the beach and is left on the beach, and mom goes off and she goes feeding all day. And then
he's got a big hook on him as well. So if he did go in the water, he'd have a lot of trouble trying to swim. So he just has to sit on the beach all day.
The mom comes and she feeds him, and their milk is
50% fat, so it's actually the highest fat content in all mammals.
That's why they're so chubby. But they get fed for 3 weeks by mom. Now she comes and goes, and then they leave the pup on the beach, and it's really awful because that's just when they lose all their white fur as well. And she just abandons the pup on the beach and leaves. And the pup will stay on the beach until he or she gets hungry, and will then be forced to go to the sea, will naturally feel the pull to the sea, and has to teach itself how to hunt, how to swim, how to dive. Mom's gone.
Oh, good Lord. So it's fight or flight for that poor seal.
They have a much tougher. The common seals can stay with mom up to 3-4 months, whereas the poor old grey seal at 3 weeks of age is abandoned. So that's why we have to help them. They
Yes,
need a little...
of course. Now, guys in Ashford, do you guys have a lovely question to ask?
How do you know when a rescued seal is ready to be released?
That's such a really good question.
Well, we don't normally do that part, but so what we do is we pick them up when they're really, really sick, and then we bring them up to Courtown, and they will do all that. But normally they know when they're able, they've got pools that they will put them into, and then once they start being able to feed on their own and eat, and then once they're really, really chubby, then they can go back out.
And it's wonderfully exciting because if you're involved in the rescue of the seal, you're invited to see the seal being released. And due to COVID, we haven't been able to do that this year, but last year I got to release one of the seals that we brought up, which was just fabulous. So when a seal pup is rescued from the beach, it's usually in trouble. It's in a lot of trouble. It's usually underweight and it normally is sick or it's injured. So it's brought into the intensive care unit in the rescue centre up in Courtown. And then they weigh it and they would do x-rays and they would check it for lots of parasites and stuff like that. Then they would tube feed it. So they put a tube down its tummy because it doesn't want to feed off humans. It doesn't know humans. So they'll tube feed it until it gets used to humans. Then it goes from ICU into kennels, just like you see dog kennels, and a bath inside in that. So they spend some time out on the ground on heat mats, very posh, or sometimes in the bath. And that's when the people that the rehabilitators are trying to get them to learn how to eat fish. And once they start eating fish inside the small little baths, and then they get to a certain weight, they put them into the outdoor pools. And when they get to a certain size and certain weight and they're eating freely out in the pools, they decide, okay, this seal has enough fat on their body to keep them going and is chasing live fish. So let's send him out back into him or her back out into the wild. And that's how they make that decision.
Very good. Thanks, guys. And Lauren and Arklow, do you guys have a lovely question that you guys would like to ask?
Yeah, go.
What is the daily life of a seal like?
That is such a good question. You take that one.
Well, to be honest, I haven't spent a day with a seal, but
You'd like to.
we would love to. But most of the days they spend their days hunting for fish. So and crab, they will eat anything. Yeah. So all day a lot of the time they do love sunbathe as well. So if some of the locals there they might have seen in Dungarvan, we've got some seals that like to lay up on a surfboard that is out in the harbour. And they will chill out there and then they'll go back into the sea and they'll go hunting for the day.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, guys in Arklow. Katie and Julia, have you got a question? Julie looks like she has one.
Yeah. Go on.
How long can seals breed out on land?
On land, they have absolutely no trouble breeding. They could probably spend as much time on land as they wanted, but it's really, they only go into the sea to go hunting and fishing and stuff. But once they're underwater, it's about 30 minutes they can hold their breath.
Wow. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, that's something we didn't know. Thanks, Julia. Now, are the guys in the Abbey, what question have you guys got?
How
Or
can you
Kirsty?
seal is sick or not?
Well, it depends on what kind of sickness they have. So we've had some seals that have had some respiratory issues, so they have problems breathing, and that could be caused by lungworm. And then some of them, they just have snotty noses that you can see, and they have gungy eyes. And some of them have visible injuries. They have like a little bit cuts and stuff on them.
Yesterday's seal had 3 large cuts on him. Yeah, so he had a rough time with it. They knew immediately once they saw the photographs that he had to be rescued. Normally, if we're called to a seal pup on the beach, we have to go down and do an assessment. So we take photographs and videos of the seal pup and we send it back to the experts through WhatsApp up in Courtown, up in the rescue centre, and they have a wildlife expert who assesses what he thinks how the seal is doing. And they will say to us, no, do you know what, just keep watching that seal for a day or two and see how it's getting on, or else they'll say, God, no, that seal is in trouble, we need to lift it and get it in as soon as possible.
Wow, thank you. And St. Patrick's, guys, what question have you guys got to ask?
Yeah. What do seals eat in the sanctuary?
Sorry?
What do seals eat in the sanctuary?
And crabs, they do crabs as well. Mostly fish. Normally I think they're frozen fish they get, and then they defrost the fish and then they'll feed them, and then once the seals are stronger, they'll start feeding them live fish.
They make a really, when they're tube feeding them, when they first come in, I love these signs, they're brilliant. Oh, they're gorgeous. Oh, I love them. But they make a milkshake for them when they first come in, which is absolutely gross and smells awful because it's all bits of fish. It's disgusting.
Wow, thanks guys. And Patrick, I love the seal art. Isn't that so festive? Well done. And I think we're going to go back to Kilcommon because I think we have another little guest that would like to ask a question.
How long do seals hold their breath underwater?
They can hold their breath underwater. They're really good at it.
Wow, thanks guys. Thank you, Remy. And then guys, I suppose if anybody else has any questions, what I would like to know is what do you do if you go for a walk on the beach and you find a seal out on the water and you think it might need a little bit of help? What should you do?
That is a really good question. So if they're in the water, normally there is no problems. They're doing just fine. It's when they're on land, you kind of have to take a look at them. So what you should do first is try not to go near him. Keep about at least 5 meters away, because you don't want to stress them out or anything or make them go back into the water. The last thing you want them to do is go back into the water if they're poorly. So just have a look at him, check him out. If he looks like he might be having some breathing problems or if he's got a running nose or anything, then you might want to get onto Seal Rescue Ireland. So you give them a call, tell them where you are, tell them what the issues are with the seal, and if you can, send them on some photos, and then they will call somebody like us and they will get us to go have a look, make another assessment, and then we'll decide if we need to lift them.
Wow, thanks guys.
Because a lot of people walk their dogs on the beach, and it's really, really important that if you do come across a seal, immediately put your dog on a lead, because seals and dogs have a lot of genetics in common. And if a seal is carrying a disease, it can very easily give it to the dog. But also an awful lot of seals end up with dog bites because dogs can't figure out what they are.
They're not very friends.
And they're not very good friends because the seal will react to the dog coming up to them. So it's very important to keep dogs away from the seals. And if you do find a seal on the beach, make sure you stay well back, because they can get cross if they're tired or they're sick, and they will try to protect themselves, and they do give a very nasty bite, but it's purely because they're protecting themselves. They're not mean. And just try to keep everybody else back. Do not, under any circumstances, try to put the seal back into the water. If the seal is okay, it'll go into the water by itself. If it's up on land, up on rocks, up on sand, it's there for a reason. And it's mostly because it's either exhausted. Like, for example, tonight there's a force 9 gale coming in. So we are on alert that there will be seal pups that will have been thrown around in the sea tonight and tomorrow, and they will be exhausted. Those seal pups will be fine. They just need some time to get their energy back. But other ones will end up with injuries, and they're the ones that need to be minded. So just if you keep your distance back and ring Seal Rescue, and they'll get somebody who knows what to do to come out.
Okay, thank you. And then guys, how did you guys get the job or start, or where did the interest come from to start to do the seal rescue, if it's something that our boys and girls would like to do when they get a little bit older?
We've always had a big interest in wildlife and rescue and stuff, so we went about looking for something we could do, and we found Seal Rescue Ireland, and there was a course that they were doing. So you just bring them up, you apply to do the course, and then it's only a day, and they'll teach you everything you need to know, and you get a jacket, and they give you all the information you need, and then they will send you off, and you will be able to rescue seals.
Wow, that's really cool. And I know that they work a lot on funding. So when COVID and stuff goes away, I know Courtown's not very far for some of us guys, that everyone maybe could go and visit and see some of the seals that are recuperating and get ready to be released. What do you guys think?
That'd be fabulous. The other thing that people can do is they can adopt a seal, which is fabulous. It's really great. I think it's only something like it's €30 to adopt a seal. So it's really nice for schools to be able to adopt a seal because they'll get updates then from Seal Rescue as to how the seal is progressing and what's happening. And they'd be invited then to the release of the seal in Courtown once the restrictions are lifted. And if restrictions are lifted, one of our seals is being released tomorrow and we're getting to watch it on Zoom. So it's really, really a great way of seeing what's happening with the seal and keeping up to date with the seal, and also helping out the...
Wow, well, that's something I think as a school we might look into, guys. I think we might have to do a bit of research and see if we can get a seal to help. Would everybody like that? Be nice, wouldn't it? So guys, does anyone have any more questions, or are we all finished asking? Oh, I see Julia has her hand up. Julia, what would you like to ask?
Wait.
Have you ever heard of Sammy the Seal in Wicklow?
Yes. Sammy the seal is very, very famous, and we have what we call our surfing seals in Dungarvan, and they're very, very famous as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Julia. That was a really good question. None of us thought of. I think Remy, do you have your hand up? Remy, would you like to ask a question?
Why do seals live in the Arctic?
Where do they live in the Arctic?
There's different seals that live up in the Arctic, and last year we had a very, very interesting visitor, came all the way down from the Arctic. It's about 2,000 kilometers. This poor baby seal turned up in Galway, and they were so surprised because these only live in the Arctic, and they're very fluffy and lots of white fur. They didn't get to rescue it that day, but 2 days later it turned up in County Clare, and they managed to rescue it, and they brought it to the rescue centre, and they called her Snow Cloud. Her name was Beautiful Snow Cloud. So she stayed with us, and then just during lockdown, just before the start of lockdown in March, they had to release her earlier than expected due to lockdown, because they wanted to go as far north as they could to get her as close to the Arctic as possible. So we do get visitors from the Arctic, but they're totally different types of seals live up there.
It's very rare as well.
Very rare. Great question,
Wow.
Remy.
That is a very good question, and that poor little seal swam so far to come down to see us. That's amazing. That is amazing. And Breffney, would you like to talk a little bit about what you do in college? I know because you're learning all about wildlife and stuff, and I know we have a lot of boys and girls that love that kind of thing.
Yes, sure. So I'm down in Tralee, and I'm so lucky where I am in Tralee because before lockdown we could do so many field trips, and we could go out and we could go to the national park down there. We could have looks at deer and stuff, and we were able to do all kinds of studies on those. So it was really, really interesting. At the moment, we're doing a little bit more boring stuff, but it is all going to be worth it because when I'm finished and everything, I'm going to be able to go into places like Seal Rescue and do proper work there.
Wow, that's amazing, Breffney. That is really cool. So guys, I think everyone has finished. Has everyone finished asking their questions? I think so.
I ask one favour.
Of course you can, Saran.
The one favour I would have to ask, if you want to help the seals, please put Seal Rescue Ireland's phone number into your phone, that if you're ever on the beach, that you can just ring them. And the second favour I have is that if you see any plastic on the beach, please do pick it up and dispose of it correctly, because the amount of trouble plastic is causing all our wildlife. Every part of the world is being affected by microplastics and plastics, and we can all help. And if everybody was to take some plastic away with them from the beach, it would make a massive difference to all the wildlife.
A really good thing for us to know, Saran, because it's, you know, we all go to the beach during the summer and some go for winter walks, so we take our rubbish back with us, and if we see anybody else's, to pick it up too. And then for the Seal Rescue number, when we're posting our video and stuff to YouTube and all, we're going to pop that up too, because it's a very important number to have.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So guys, what we normally do at the end is everybody gives a big slan all together. So guys, would you like to take everybody off mute?
Yeah.
We try and synchronize this now. It's not always easy. Are we all ready, guys?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Slán.
Thanks, guys. Saran and Breffney, thank you so much for your time.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. And we will be in touch again because I think we have lots more to talk about. Thank you so much, guys. Everyone give a big wave. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.